Okay.
All right.
All right. So I am recording this. So, I appreciate, joining. I am going to share my screen so you can see my, the slides that I put together for,
Okay.
for this presentation here. So I know, a lot of us have been affected, financially and work-wise and whatnot by the pandemic and COVID-19. So I thought it might be a good idea to put together a quick presentation about how it's affecting our home values, because I've been asked a few times while walking my dog in the evenings, what's happening with the market, and, are people still really buying homes? And the answer is yes. So, which is good. It's good for all of us. In fact, housing is going to get us out of this, funk we're in. And, some call it, some say that we are in a recession, but it's not a housing crisis. So that's the good thing. So I'm going to, share with you some market information. Okay.
All right.
This is 2019 compared to 2020. And I looked at January through June. All right. Just in McCormick Woods. And in 2019, there were 10 listings that came on the market between January and June of last year. There were 5 pending sales, properties that went under contract during that time. 4 sales closed, 4 properties actually sold. This year, during that same time frame, there were only 7 new listings on the market, so that's a decrease of 30%. There were 8 pending sales, which is interesting because they went, more pending sales, which means that, there were a couple lingering sales that were on the market prior to January that sold. It went under contract during that time, and then there were 6 total closings. So more closings, but less homes on the market for sale, which is interesting, which is kind of a trend we're seeing right now in all of Central Florida. So we're in McCormick Woods, we're following the trend. Okay. So some other statistics with McCormick Woods, comparing 2019 to 2020, the average sales price in the neighborhood in 2019, the first 6 months of the year, was $312,250. And the average days on the market was 23 days. The average days on the market this year has not changed, but the sales price has gone up slightly by 1.83%. So it's now $317,983. So we're moving in the right direction. Property values are still increasing, but they're not increasing at the rate that they were, before the big boom in 2005. So that's good. That's protecting us from that ever happening again. Okay. So now nationwide inventory is down all over. This chart shows that, a year ago or 10 years ago, we had 8.5 months of inventory, which meant that it was a buyer's market. We nationally have 4.1 months supply of inventory. And what that means is that if no other homes came on the market, it would take 4.1 months to sell off everything that's available for sale. Now, in Central Florida, we have a 3.1 month supply of inventory. So it would take a little over 3 months to sell off everything that's for sale if no other homes come on the market. So, and this just explains, how we determine whether it's a seller's market or a buyer's market. A neutral market or a balanced market is between 6 and 7 months worth of inventory. Seller's market is less than 6 months worth of inventory, and a buyer's market is more than 7 months. We haven't been in a buyer's market in a very long time. We've been in a seller's market for a very long time. So it's great to be a seller at the moment. It's a little more challenging to be a buyer. So this is the current market activity in McCormick Woods. I pulled a year's worth of data. There's currently nothing for sale in the neighborhood. There are 2 properties under contract, and then the rest of them, the other 14 have sold in the past year. So more than 1 property is selling per month. And I've highlighted a couple things on the right-hand side. Those figures are any seller paid closing costs that the seller paid on behalf of the buyer. And that information is not public record. It's not, listed in the tax records or, the general public on Zillow or anything. So I like to point that out to sellers and to people thinking of selling, because that's important, So for example, this home, they gave $5,000 towards the buyer's closing costs. So the net sales price was really $290,000. you know, where in tax records it shows 295, but it's really 290 because they gave money towards the buyer's closing cost. Okay, so how to calculate absorption rate? An absorption rate is, you know, how many months worth of inventory that we have here in Central Florida or in McCormick Woods. Oh, sorry. There we go. So what we do is we take the number of existing homes for sale, you know, over the past 30 or 60 days, and we divide it by the number of homes currently listed for sale, and that gives us the absorption rate, how long it'll take for a property to sell. So if we do that for McCormick Woods, 3 homes have sold in the past 30 days, but we currently don't have any inventory for sale. So we have a 0-month supply of inventory in the neighborhood. Now, mortgage applications are on the rise, which is good because interest rates are really, really low right now. So buyers can afford more of a home. They can afford a little bit more because the interest rates are balancing out, you know, the prices of the homes. So the market is very healthy in Central Florida. So the purchase applications for mortgages is on the rise. So I put this in here to show, you know, this is the data that's pulled from, you know, the Mortgage Bankers Association. And as you can see, interest rates over time have gone down significantly, which is great. You know, this slide, you know, was pulled last week, and it was, you know, average is 3.24. I closed one yesterday that the interest rate was 3%. So if it's a 15-year loan, I've seen it in the 2s. So again, really competitive and very attractive to buyers. And this shows the showing time activity, the showing activity on listings in the state of Florida. They don't break it down by city, unfortunately, but this is showing time is a program that we use when people open lockboxes and make appointments to see properties. But pre-pandemic, we are up 0.8% over, you know, where showings were before the pandemic hit. Same time last year, we're up 9%. There are a lot of buyers out there that need and want to buy homes, especially because the interest rates are low, but there's just not enough inventory, not enough houses for them to look at or to buy. So, you know, showings are up 9%. That's a big deal, you know, and that's a good sign. So 56% of homes that sold in April were on the market for less than a month. You know, the homes that are priced well and are marketed well and show well go under contract very quickly. You know, and as you can see, the average 56%, more than half, went under contract in less than 30 days. So, you know, Lawrence Yoon, who's the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors, said that the supply of homes is extremely limited, and there are simply not as many homes for sale to meet the demand. So more supply and more listings are needed to provide a faster recovery for the economy. Real estate's going to help the economy recover faster if more people put their homes on the market for sale. And this, I think, is really interesting that more than half of the homes in America, more than half of the homeowners in America have more than 50% equity in their home, which is really, I think, you know, astounding, you know, when you really think about it. Over 42% of homeowners own their home free and clear. They don't have a mortgage. And the average equity in a mortgaged home is $177,000. You know, and this goes to show that, you know, a lot of people have asked, you know, are we going to see another wave of foreclosures and short sales like we did a few years ago? Not with this information, because sellers or, you know, homeowners that have this much equity aren't walking away from it. They're not going to walk away, you know, from the equity they have in their homes. So that's a good sign. I don't think we're going to see a wave of foreclosures or short sales just strictly based on this information. And the major financial institutions are calling for a second half of the year recovery. You know, and they pulled Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, and Wells Fargo. So, you know, we're starting to kind of come out of the fog, but the second half of the year is going to really kind of bring us out. Oh, I keep pressing the home button instead of page down. Sorry about that. Okay, so, you know, while housing supply remains at historically low levels, the house price growth, meaning the rate at which the home prices increase, is likely to slow down, but it's not going to go negative. Home prices are not going to drop. They're going to continue to go up, but they're just not going to go up super fast. So that's the information that I have, you know, for McCormick Woods and, you know, what's happening in Central Florida. do you have any questions or, any specific questions, regarding either the neighborhood or the market in general?
No, I was just curious about how the growth rate was going in McCormick Woods.
Sure. No, I mean, it's very healthy. I mean, like I said, right now we don't have any homes for sale, so, homes are selling, which is good. And I don't know if, you or anybody, has ever, in the past couple of years has tried to sell a home and for whatever reason, the market wasn't in their favor or the market wasn't working with them. But, if that is the case, you might want to, share this information with them or even pass along my contact information or, give me theirs. I'm happy to reach out with their permission, because I can't stress enough that we have such a shortage of inventory for the buyers that are available, the buyers that need to purchase homes. The sellers that are selling, very often they're moving out of state or they're relocating or they're upsizing or downsizing or they're choosing to build. So there are places for them to go, but if they're thinking of selling, sellers now are getting top dollar for their homes.
It's good to know.
So, yeah, it is good to know. So, well, I appreciate you joining me and, thank you so much. And, if you ever have any other questions about the market in general or just in McCormick Woods, feel free to contact me. I know you have my contact information.
Yes, I do.
So, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to answer any questions. No obligation, just providing information.
All right, I sure will.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Have a great rest of the night.
Thank you, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Only me.